This hottest radio talk show, The Hot Seat, exclusive to Hot FM 87.7.
It's a very warm welcome to you to Thursday's edition of the Hot Seat Radio program with me, your host. My name is Peter Zulu Jr. On the program this morning, we speak to Socialist Party President Dr. Fred Membe. Dr. Membe joins us to discuss various national matters. And at this point, just allow me to welcome Dr. Membe to the Hot Seat. Dr. Membe, good morning and welcome to the Hot Seat Radio program.
Good morning. Thank you very much for hosting me.
It's a pleasure to have you over. But I should say that we are live on our Facebook platforms. We're on Kritu FM. We're on Hot FM as well. You can stream us live wherever you are. And if you have internet coverage, you can follow this program and ask your advanced questions to Dr. Membe. We'll be able to put them forward to him a little later in the show, and we'll be able to respond to your questions that you're asking online. We're also live in Eastern Province on Kanele FM on 97.7 FM. We're live on Kritu FM on 93.3 FM and live in Lusaka and surrounding areas on 87.7 FM. Countrywide, it's DSTV channel 912 and GoTV channel 301. Dr. Membe, again, warm welcome, and it's a pleasure to have you on the Hot Seat radio program once more. I want us to begin with the happenings in your party, the Socialist Party. Over the last few weeks, we've seen an exodus in or from the PF, some PF members coming to join the Socialist Party. What has been happening in the Socialist Party in terms of mobilization as you welcome the defectors?
Well, they are not defectors. They are people simply joining the party from all walks of life. There are others coming from other political parties. There are others who have never been in politics before. So it's really not a question of defectors. We are overwhelmed with the numbers of people joining the party every day. The numbers are just too high. We actually don't have the capacity to deal with the numbers effectively. We are struggling. What has caused this? One, the party has been consistent in its message before, during, and after the elections. Our message has not changed. And also the cause that the party stands for resonates very well with the cause of the people. The party's cause is not new. It's an old cause that started way long, even before colonization of this country, probably. We are pursuing that cause. We are continuing that cause in the new times, in the new circumstances, and with the new organization. But the cause has not changed. What is this cause? It's the cause of the dignity of our people, the liberties of our people, the independence of our people, the ownership of their land, their resources, minerals and otherwise. A struggle for a decent life, access to water, clean water, access to sanitation, access to education, access to health services, and all the other services required in an organized society. This is the cause of the party, and this is the cause of our people. This is what our people are struggling for every day. People are not struggling for ideas in one's head. They are struggling to improve their lives, their material conditions, and to live better, themselves and their children and their children's children.
I want to believe, joining your party, it's obvious that the people joining your party do not have the full understanding of socialism. What is being done to make them appreciate your ideologies, especially that some are being incorporated into the leadership positions?
Our people understand socialism. And in most cases, we find that actually people don't understand socialism much better. It's the educated people. The ordinary people understand socialism. Because socialism is not about bombastic words, complicated vocabulary. It's simply about the basics that a human being needs to live a dignified life. As I said, access to clean water, access to sanitation, a roof, a solid roof over your head, education for your children, health services for you and your children, again, and all the other services required in an organized society. This is socialism. It's not about complicated concepts.
All right.
And the people understand this because these are the things they are dealing with every day in their lives.
Don't you think the people joining the party and taking up leadership positions need some sort of orientation to this?
We are training. literally everybody coming into the party has a program. I was talking about being overwhelmed because the rate at which we're training people is slow a bit because the numbers are quite huge. But we are doing that with all the leaders. Almost all the leaders that have been given appointment letters have undergone training.
How long does it take, this orientation or training?
The basic program takes 8 hours. This is really just the basics. But training in the Socialist Party never ends for a socialist. Even for myself, it's never ending. I'll be training, I'll be learning until I die. So in the Socialist Party, we learn every day because circumstances are changing every day. Realities are changing every day. So learning never ends. When you learn, that's the end of you. You become irrelevant to the processes.
Okay. I want to take you back to the 4th and 5th of July. Zambia commemorated Heroes and Unity Day, respectively, and you emphasized on the need for the nation to be remembering the words of the fallen heroes who worked together to liberate this country. What do we learn as a nation from our forefathers who, in unity, got us political independence?
Firstly, the struggle for our liberation, the struggle for our freedom, the struggle for our dignity did not start with the so-called independence struggle. It started way, way, way back. We can trace that probably from 1897 with Ngoni resistance to colonization by Cecil Rhodes and his companies. And that has continued. It continued up to the 1964 struggle that ended up with independence from the United Kingdom. It is continuing today in the struggles against neocolonialism. Neocolonialism is a reality. If we are not careful, we are going to be recolonized and recolonized and recolonized again. So there are struggles going on, and this is the struggle that we are continuing ourselves. And there are words that we have to remember. If we go back to 1897, we have to remember the words of Nsingu, the commander of the Ngoni warriors. He said, over our dead bodies, will Cecil Rhodes and his company take our land and our minerals. Those are very strong words. Those are very strong words. We can repeat them today in the new times we live in, but they're still valid from 1897.
All right. I want to touch on issues to do with, unity, because we just commemorated Unity Day. Today, Zambia is not as united as it was at independence, as the country, continues to be divided on political lines, mainly by politicians. Where have we gone wrong in promoting oneness as per our motto, One Zambia, One Nation?
It is very difficult to achieve high levels of unity in a country that is so unequal. Today, Zambia is said to be the second or the third most unequal nation in the world. With such levels of inequality, unity is very difficult. And those who have take advantage of those who don't have. They can divide them along ethnic lines, they can divide them along racial lines, they can divide them along regional lines, and so on. They have decimated institutions that required, that could have helped us achieve unity. You look at the social movement in the country, the trade unions, they have been decimated. Over the last 30 years, we decimated the trade unions. What unity is there among the workers? They have been fragmented into small unions that cannot offer meaningful protection to the workers, that cannot advance the cause of the workers effectively, that cannot even mount a reasonable strike. They have fragmented that. And they did that systematically from 1991, when we embarked on an unbridled neoliberal capitalism. That is continuing today. Civil society, what you are calling civil society, many of them are just NGOs formed by the same people, funded by the same people. They are not really organic organizations of our people. When the donor funding stops, the NGO stops. And that's what we are calling civil society. Even our churches today that really offer resistance and protection to our people are also under attack, are under threat of fragmentation and disunity. The unity of our people starts from the family. Families are disintegrating due to poverty, due to difficulties. Traditional systems are disintegrating. The church is in disarray. The politics is in disarray. The school is troubled. So the unity of our people is being challenged by so many things. The value system is weakening.
I want to throw in something there. With all those challenges that you've put on the table, what role do politicians have to play in all this to make sure that with the challenges that you've highlighted, and we've added that because now there's a school of thought that politicians are mostly also, they've played a huge role in this disunity that we're seeing in the country. What role do you think politicians have to play to rectify this?
You are right. Politicians have played a role. Political ideas are worthless if they are not anchored on noble and selfless sentiments. Likewise, political ideas or noble sentiments are worthless if they are not based on fair and correct ideas. Our politics should be based on noble sentiments that are selfless, and those noble sentiments, they should be informed by correct ideas, fair ideas. Is that the situation? The answer is a categorical no. And we're having chaos.
So where did we go wrong? Because I would like to compare this generation of politicians to the older generation of politicians who preached the One Zambia, One Nation, slogan and emphasized on unity, as part of their ideologies.
What is the general value system or the main value today in Zambia? What are the values? What are the values or the main value driving this society today? Today, this society is based on Inchekelako. What is my card? What is my deal in this? It's a society that is increasingly becoming more and more individualistic. All the other values that we may talk about today in the society save the value of individualism. We are so much concerned about how much you amass and not much concerned about your neighbor. You are ready to eat while your neighbor is not eating. People are becoming rich or wealth without any work, without any meaningful work. They are watching television the whole day and they are getting deals. They are getting contracts to supply this and that. All what they need to do is to send a few emails and they've got the money. Those who are toiling, breaking their backs every day, have difficulties putting food on the table. That's the society we have created. We do well as people, as communities, when we care about the neighbor, when the leadership cares about those in distress. Good leaders care about those in distress, those who have got problems, feeding their families, those who have got problems accessing medicine, those who have got problems paying rentals, and so on. Is that the type of leadership that we have today that cares about those things? No. It's a leadership that wants to be seen to be rich, that wants to enrich themselves. When key leaders of a country have the main motivation in life of becoming the richest people, billionaires, you have a problem. The leadership that we had in the past did not care much about what they had. Look at how much wealth Kaunda had. What did Kaunda have? Kaunda's wealth could fit in the pockets of his safari suit. He had nothing. Kaunda and his generation of leaders, they did not amass land. Look at how much land our leaders have today. Key leaders. Look at how much land they have over many provinces of our country, over many districts of our country. They are the biggest landowners. Those who liberated this country owned maybe just a few hectares maybe 5 acres in Makeni or so. Take stock. See how much land Kaunda owned. See how much land Grezul owned. See how much land Ruben Kamanga owned. See how much land Simon Kapwepe owned anywhere in this country. See how much land Scotta Wina owned. See how much land Arthur Wina owned. See how much land all our key leaders, our liberators owned. Nothing. Look at how much wealth this generation of political leaders has today. That is a problem in itself.
All right. In case you're just joining us, we have Dr. Fred Membe on the Hot Seat Radio program right here on your hot station, number one for news and entertainment. We're live countrywide on DSTV channel 912 and GoTV channel 301. You can also follow this program live on Facebook, on Hot FM Zambia, and on Kwitu FM as well. You'll be able to ask your advanced questions to Dr. Membe, and we're able to ask them on your behalf a little later on the program. Dr. Membe, 11 months ago, Zambia elected the new Dawn administration to lead Zambia for 5 years until 2026. Having promised a better life for all, with so many promises yet to be fulfilled, how would you say the new Dawn has performed so far? And is this the change you envisioned under the UPND, who you labeled as PF Siamese twins?
What matters really is not what leaders say. It's not what those in government are claiming to have done. It's not what we in the opposition are saying they haven't done. What matters really is what the people feel is happening in their lives. Our people went to vote on the 12th of August last year to have a better life, to change their material conditions, to live better and in peace. That's what they voted for. They looked at the promises that were being made in that direction. Those in government today made the best promises of a better life for our people. They promised them heaven, literally heaven on earth. We don't know if they have delivered even purgatory today. Our people are the best judges. Ask the common man today, the common woman today, the common child today, in our compounds, in our villages, in our townships, if their lives have improved. What we are getting every day is despair, is anxiety. Things are not going well. They are not going well. They are facing more challenges than they faced. And the prices are showing that. The prices are showing that. The prices of the basic things that they used to buy before the elections have gone up. I do not know anything that has gone down. But the earnings of our people, the salaries of our people, the wages of our people have not gone up to match those increasing prices. Yes, our leaders are quick to claim victory, easy victory. Inflation has gone down to single digit and so on. We should celebrate. But prices are going up. Prices are going up. So really, the measure of what has happened in our country, good or bad, should be looked at from the position of our people's living conditions. If they have improved, let's go to game stores and buy trampolines and celebrate. If it hasn't, let's tighten our belt and see how a better future can be built.
You labeled the UPND as Siamese twins to the PF in this 11 months with their performance. Is this the kind of performance you envisioned them to have? Have they done better? Have they scoring better, or have they done worse?
In how many things or in which ways have they done things very differently from the PF? Mm-hmm. The economic policies, the main thrust of the economic policies is the same. The PF departed from their manifesto, from the principles of their constitution, and pursued a neoliberal agenda. They pursued a neoliberal capitalist agenda. And this is exactly what this government is also pursuing. So in terms of the main thrust of the policies, there's no change. It's the same. Yes, individuals have changed. Some talked less. They have been replaced maybe by people who talk more. Some boasted a little. They have been replaced maybe by people who boast a bit more, who brag a bit more. Some promise less. They have been replaced by people who promise things every day. They don't get tired of making promises. They don't get tired of boasting. They don't get tired of claiming they are the first to do this, they are the first to do that. Even the things that were done before. We have been independent for almost how many years? Almost 50. We're closing to 60 years soon. How many things have been done? And this government is claiming in everything, we are the first to do this, we are the first to do that. You hear this on the free education. You look at the free education that they are claiming. I was privileged to be one of the first children of this country to go to school after independence in January 1965. We had free education. Free education that entailed free uniform, free exercise books, free textbooks, free pencils, free pens, free crayons. And we were fed at school. We ate at school, primary school. When we went to secondary school, it was a paradise. Even the transport was provided to go to school. Those who could not afford, the half fare for students, they were given requisitions to board trains or to board UBZ. You can't compare that to what is being claimed now. Children are still having problems going to school, transport. They are still having problems on what to eat at school. They're still having problems with exercise books, textbooks, and so on. There are still many things parents have to pay for. When you look at sending a child to secondary school today, you are talking of another 2,000 kwacha or so. Many of our people cannot afford that. They are still struggling. Yes, they'll say there's CDF to deal with that. You understand it very well. You know very well what is happening with the CDF. It's very different from the social welfare system that was there. They are claiming too many victories so easily. They are eager, they are in a rush to show that they are doing very well. But the best judges of this is not the mouths of leaders or the heads of leaders. It's our people. The living conditions our people have to endure will determine whether we are making progress or not.
I want to quote you on one of the issues you pointed out. You insisted that the UPND government is taking the country nowhere but to hell. And in saying this, you emphasize on not being malicious or wishing them to fail, saying you are a patriot who wishes the best for the country and its people with or without the socialists. What makes you think Zambia is doomed under the New Dawn administration?
It's very easy to know where one is going to end by the direction they take. If I'm going to Kitwe from Lusaka and I start heading in the direction of Kafiwe, it's highly unlikely that I'll end up in Kitwe. If I will end up in Kitwe, it will take many, many, many years for me to get to Kitwe, unless I U-turn. So it's not difficult when you look at the policies a government is pursuing to know where it will end. The policies this new government, this UPND government is pursuing are not new in this country and in the world. They have been pursued before. The results are known. The consequences are known. This is not the road to heaven. This is not the road to paradise. it is certainly a road to something else. Hell, probably. These policies that are being portrayed as new, they are wreaking havoc in Latin America. They are wreaking havoc in Asia. They are wreaking havoc in African countries. Today, one country says to hell with the IMF program. Tomorrow, they say, oh, we bring it back. We are up and down, to and fro. Mm. Look at Ghana. They are pursuing the same policies. Look at the confusion that is there economically. And also, let's not cheat ourselves. We have been on the path that is being pursued today from 1891 in this country, with little pauses here and there, but principally on the same path. Where has it ended us? Which African country has come out of this poverty, this quagmire, with these policies that are being pursued, presented as new policies by a new brand of Africans?
I want to zero in on the IMF issue. Zambian today, more than ever before, is not clear on what the future holds. The UPND in opposition made a lot of promises, and 11 months on, nothing really has changed except in the negative, where people are suffering more than ever before. But it is also clear that, you know, the problems left by the PF, such as debt, have contributed to these problems. How would you suggest the New Dawn should go about addressing these challenges as they wait for the IMF loan?
We all knew that the PF had driven this country into a huge debt. We knew that. None of us didn't know. You called us on these programs. You asked us the same question. How are we going to deal with that? Mm-hmm. We all claimed we had answers. We all claimed we had answers. The UPND claimed they had answers. They will fix it. Barry will fix it. When they came into power, they had illusions. They did not want even to talk to China. They were trying to play down China. Midway, they realized they needed China. Those who wanted to give you the money are saying, you go and talk to China first to restructure debts with you. What were the Chinese debt? What did this country do with the Chinese debt? What did the PF do with the Chinese debt? We have a Kariba Gorge, Kafue Gorge power station. It's a 5-phase. 3 phases are already working. That's why you're not seeing load shedding. You are earning $1 million every day from that. Every day from that power station, you are earning $1 million. That debt, the power station can pay back every month or every year what is due. We have other projects that the Chinese undertook, which you can see. But there's a debt from the same Western countries, Western institutions, the Eurobonds. Can you see where the Eurobonds went? Can you see what the Eurobonds did? Can you see what the money that came from the Western lenders did into this country or in this country? Now, they are failing to account for their debt. They want the Chinese to deal with that. Is that fair? We have to deal with the debt. The IMF loan that we are seeking is not a debt write-off. It's not HIPIC. The bailout from IMF will not be HIPIC that we got under the Mwanawasa government. It's not a debt write-off. It's balance of payment support to the tune of $1.4 billion. Will that change everything in the country? No. And they are creating problems for themselves. They are making the population, the Zambian people believe that if we get this IMF package, then our problems are over. They will get this IMF bailout, but the problems will continue. What are they going to say next? You are telling the Zambian people, if we get this, our problems are over. When they will not be over, it will actually lead to more and more problems. Already, even the preparations for this loan, the conditions that we have to meet before we get this loan, are already causing havoc. Part of the fuel prices increments are part of these conditions. The removal of subsidies and so on a number of things. So the IMF bailout will not bail us out.
But what do we do here, Dr. Membe? What would be the alternative?
Get back to the basics. Get back to the basics. Deal with the Chinese differently. Deal with all the other people that you owe money differently. With respect and with honesty. With humility. Get your tail between your legs and go and seek help. Better help, not climbing Calvary again.
I want to, touch on other issues. Obviously, issues to do with employment creation. The Teaching Service Commission and the Civil Service Commission announced recently that the publication of successful candidates' names will be published on the 15th and the 22nd of July, 2022, respectively. What is your view on how the New Dawn administration or the New Dawn government has handled the recruitment issue? I know this was part of a budget that was presented sometime last year in October, and the teaching service, the country at large, was waiting to see how this was going to be implemented. How do you think this has been handled?
Look, if you look at the manifesto of the UPND, you'll never find anywhere where the UPND says they were going to create jobs through the public sector. They are saying they are going to create jobs through the private sector, not the public sector. All of a sudden, we find them hanging on to 11,000 health service jobs and 30,000 teaching jobs as the main jobs being created. That's what is being trumpeted. They were excited when the $1.3 billion was released from special drawing rights in August, just immediately after the elections. I think it was on the 24th of August it was released. Mm-hmm. But this money, a decision was made for these special drawing rights in June by the IMF. Every country got its share. Mm-hmm. Whatever government would have come into power after the August elections would have found that money. They thought they could use all that money to employ people and make some political capital. Those who provided that money told them, you can't use all of this. Negotiations had to take place for a bit of it to be used. The truth is they didn't have the money to employ all these people. And they haven't employed all of them. But still more. We need people to be employed. But look at the numbers that applied for those 11,000 jobs, for those 30,000 jobs. For 11,000 jobs, you get over 100,000 applicants. What is it telling you? It's telling you the solution of employing 11,000 is a tip of the iceberg. It's very small. You have a bigger problem than you're addressing now. Mm. Unemployment is one of the biggest challenges. And the UPND does not have a solution to this. It doesn't have a solution. They thought they could deal with this with the private investment. No matter how many new investments we bring into the mining sector, we won't get these jobs. They are running financial services, the key leaders of this government. How many people are they employing? How many people does Bayport employ? Despite raking so much money from civil servants, actually exploiting civil servants, getting them into a debt trap that they can't come out of. They have reversed the debt swap to just benefit the owners of Bayport and other private entities. They are not even interested in the civil servants, getting a better deal that would have been provided by their own institutions, lending institutions, borrowing at lower rates. Today, many civil servants are going home with very little money that cannot make them meet the demand, the necessities of life for each month. So they are forced into more and more and more borrowing. Who is going to bail out these civil servants? If the country itself, the government itself is seeking a bailout, who is going to bail out these individuals working for the government who are in serious debt?
I wanted to find out, just to get some clarity. The employment of these healthcare workers and teachers was all budgeted for last year. And then you're here telling us that there's no money to support this. I know a budget is a plan, and it's not like money that's available. Is it true that there's no money or for this, to take up these 11,000 healthcare workers or the 33,000 teachers that are planned for?
If they had budgeted for it, why has it taken so long to employ? Why has it taken so long? If they had budgeted for them and the money is there. If the money is there, why is it taking so long? The truth is they had no money. They thought the money that they would get from special drawing rights would be used wholly for that. And they couldn't. That's the reality. That's the truth.
I want to come to your party. How would the Socialist Party in government, how would you have handled the problem of unemployment? And in your view, where does the solution lie to the unemployment problem in Zambia as per the Socialist Party's ideologies?
Firstly, if you want to look at the problem of unemployment, you have to look at the current deployment of the workforce. How has Zambia deployed this workforce currently into the various sectors of the economy? 54.8% of our workforce is deployed in agriculture. 54.8% of our workforce is deployed in agriculture, accounting for 7.5% of our GDP, or producing 7.5% of our GDP. 9.9% of our workforce is deployed in industry. That's mining, construction, and so on, producing 35.3% of our GDP. 35.3% of our workforce is deployed in services, banking and so on, insurance and so on, producing 57.2% of our GDP. That's the structure of our workforce. And you can see the cause of poverty. If 54.8% of your workforce is only producing 7.5% of your GDP, that's those deployed in agriculture, then you have a problem. That 7.5% of the GDP, that's what they are getting a share of, not wholly, but partly. Can they get out of poverty if you don't increase that contribution to the GDP? They won't. So if we want to deal with the issue of unemployment in this country, a huge focus has to be put on agriculture, peasant agriculture mainly. That's where jobs are going to be created. If we don't invest heavily in agriculture, peasant agriculture especially, we are going nowhere in terms of employment. Mining will no longer employ as many people as it used to. The technologies have changed. The numbers of people employed in the mines is no longer what it used to be when they were digging umukubanama shovels and picks. Now they're using machines, they're using excavators. Another sector that used to be employed, to employ our people heavily, was the financial sector, banks and so on. You have seen banks are closing branches. There's no bank that hasn't been downsizing in terms of branches. They are reducing their workforce every day. The numbers of people being employed by the banks has become smaller and smaller and smaller. Where are you going to get, where are new jobs going to come from in the financial services? The high-tech companies, especially the telecommunication companies, MTN, Airtel, Zamtel, how many people are they employing? They started with big numbers. They have been downsizing, but their incomes are not reducing. Their earnings are not reducing. They have even taken over financial services. Even in talk time, people who used to sell talk time, are the numbers still the same? They have gone down. Because today you can buy your talk time online, isn't it? On your phone. So the numbers of people selling talk time has reduced. All those people, earnings gone. So if we don't pay attention to agriculture and the value addition to agriculture, processing agriculture products, we are going nowhere in terms of jobs. Let's not cheat ourselves that you can move around the world, trotting from one capital to the other and smiling, promising this and that the way they promised the Zambian voters, and then investors will come and jobs will flood the market, the labor market. It's a lie. It's an illusion. Fleeting illusion.
Dr. Membe, let's touch on the high cost of living. Questions have been asked as to why commodity prices have remained high when inflation has hit single digit from 24% in August last year, and now we're looking at about 9.7%. From an economist economics perspective, can we break this down for us, or for an ordinary Zambian to understand what's going on here?
Let's hide nothing from the masses of our people. Let's tell no lies. Let's mask no difficulties. Let us not claim its victories. Let's explain things the way they are. The problem with our friends in government today, they are seeking so much glory. They want so much praise. They want to show that they are so smart, that they can do this, they can fix that is so easily. They want to be seen to be MacGyvers. But that's not what life is. It doesn't make sense to claim that inflation is going down while prices are going up. Inflation going down, prices going up. What does it mean? Inflation in truth is not going down in this country. Inflation is still going up. Inflation is still rising. What has happened is just a drop in the rate at which inflation is increasing. If it was increasing, say, at 10%, it's now increasing at 8%. That's all what has happened. But it's still increasing. If inflation is really decreasing, you would see also a decrease in the prices. And also it matters a lot what items are you picking when you are looking at your inflation rate. If you are picking those items whose prices are slightly lower, instead of those or whose increase are slightly lower, instead of those whose price increments are higher, you will get a small drop. Look, with increasing fuel prices, prices are going to go up of many things. Transport is going to go up. With the transport going up, food prices go up, prices of medicines go up, cost of producing agricultural products go up. You use a diesel to cultivate, and so on. So there isn't anything to celebrate about the single-digit inflation rate. And also, let's look at it this way. There are two economies. There's the real economy, which involves the production of goods and services. And there's the financial economy, which is just money, playing around with figures, speculation, manipulation, casino. You are gambling. You produce the figures that you want to produce. But the real economy is what determines the living conditions of our people, the goods and services being produced.
So this current inflation rate is not a true reflection on what's on the ground?
You can see it for yourself. If inflation was really going down, the prices would go down. That's what basic economics teaches us. If inflation is going down, prices are going to go down. If inflation is going up, prices are going to go up. And I've told you, inflation is still going up. It's not going down, it's going up. It's like you are driving a car at 100 kilometers. Then you started driving at 98 kilometers per hour. Have you stopped?
No.
No, you haven't stopped. You are still cruising, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what the inflation rate is. If it was at 100, at a rate of 100, and it's reduced to 98, you are still cruising. If you crash at that speed, you still face almost the same consequences at 98 as at 100, isn't it? The reduction is so small.
It is a well-known fact that the Russia and Ukraine war, which has forced oil prices to skyrocket globally, is having an impact on commodity prices, including here in Zambia, because of the rise in fuel prices. How do you think government should move in combating the rise in fuel prices and commodity prices?
Firstly, let's be honest. When did fuel prices start increasing in Zambia? They started increasing before the Ukrainian conflict. They started increasing. They increased, I think, twice or so, or 3 times, before the war started or the conflict started there. We have no control over what happens in Ukraine, what happens in Russia. We have to deal with our own situation here. And that's what these leaders who are in government today used to say. They never wanted to listen to any mitigation that their friends used to give. So why should the Zambian people listen to their own mitigations? They used to tell people what happened in other countries have no effect here. Let's deal with our situations. That's what they used to say. Has the Ukrainian conflict brought some consequences on us? Yes, definitely. Can we deal with them? Yes. We have to find solutions. We have to find solutions. Do we know when that conflict will end? We don't know. Do we know how it will end? We don't know. Within that, we needed to start finding solutions. The prices of fertilizers are going to go up. Russia is one of the main suppliers of fertilizers in the world.
What would be one of the solutions you'd propose, Dr. Membe?
When you have a problem, you have to think outside the box. When you are weak, your strength lies or will lie on how you cooperate with others. And also, when you don't have much, you need to be thrift. You need to be thrift. If you are going to spend money the same way as if you had more money, you are going to run into problems. It's time we are adjusted. We are still a poor country, a very poor country. We are one of the poorest countries in the world. Let's not behave as if we are one of the richest countries in the world. We are very poor. But look at the conditions our leaders get. Last week, our MPs increased their salaries, their allowances. They were increased. How many workers' salaries have you had increased? How many? Even you, comrade, in your home, that lady or that gentleman who assists you, are you able to increase their allowance today? Are you able to increase their salary today? But the leaders are increasing their salaries amidst these difficulties. The economy is not doing well. You have a date, you go and increase salaries for 156 MPs plus. No debate, and you keep it out of the public eye. What type of leadership is that? Is this what good leaders do? When the people they lead are facing a crisis, they have difficulties putting food on the table, they have difficulties paying rents, they have difficulties paying for medicines, they have difficulties looking after their families in any meaningful way. Is that what good leaders do? That's what these leaders have done.
I want to move on and touch on the issue to do with Africom. I know that you are opposed to the establishment of Africom, the office in Zambia, and government has insisted that this is not a base as is being insinuated. As African leaders converge in Lusaka in the next few days, should this be part of the agenda, the Africom office that is going to be established in Zambia?
Yes, it should be. This is an AU issue. When Africom wanted to start setting up bases in Africa in 2008, this became an issue of the AU. Liberia and Botswana had agreed to give the USA their territories for bases. The AU refused. President Mbeki and others were moved to dissuade Liberia and to dissuade Botswana from doing so. SADC took a position on this issue. ECOWAS took a position on this issue. The progressive leaders who were there at that time have changed. In some of our countries today, we have imperialist puppets who are so eager to please the imperialists, who are so eager to be received in the White House, and they see that as an achievement, a big achievement, and they can go and boast that they are the first ones to go to the White House, when it's not even true, because others went there before them. What are the interests of Africom here? The goodness with the Americans, they don't hide their intentions. If you read their documents, you will see what their interests are. They are not coming here to protect Zambia. They are coming here to protect American interests. What are American interests in Zambia? They are also not hiding their economic interests here, their security interests here, which also you can extend it to political interests. They want to counter the influence of China. They want to counter the influence of Russia. Those are their interests. Are the American interests our interests? Are the economic interests, political interests, military interests of the USA our interests? No. Since when did they become our interests? Were they there in 1897 when Cecil Rhodes was massacring Ngonis? Were they there when the white Rhodesian racist forces were attacking Asie, bombing people in Chikumbi, killing Ari Kinkata? Were they there when the apartheid regime was making incursions into Zambia without being challenged? We asked them for help. The Kaunda government asked them for help. Not for free, but to just sell us jets and other air defense systems. They refused. They refused. They supported apartheid. They supported the white racist rhodesian forces. They supported the colonialists in Angola, in Mozambique, in Guinea-Bissau, in Cape Verde. They participated in the killing of our leaders. They are admitting it now, that the Belgians and the Americans killed Patrice Lumumba. Today we can only bury his tooth. One tooth, not two. And today they come here to protect their interests here. After all these centuries of humiliation, of neglect, of abuse, of being against us, because they have set up puppets here, and Zambia should become a hub of the American military interests, we can't.
What would be your reaction if the AU doesn't table this?
We'll continue to struggle against it. The struggle that began in 1898, in 1897 in the Chipeta has not come to an end. We'll continue it.
Okay. Before I open the phone lines, I want to quickly touch on the issues to do with the Public Order Act, because the Zambian government has embarked on the process of reviewing the Public Order Act and has indicated that they will receive fresh submissions from stakeholders, discarding those received under the PF. What is the Socialist Party's position on this matter, and what kind of law would you want to see when it comes to the Public Order Act?
We have made it very clear that for us the Public Order Act is not there for amendment. It's there for total repeal. It's not needed. We have enough laws to protect public order. The Public Order Act does not really, strictly speaking, affect the public in general. It affects those in political organizations, in civic organizations who want to protest against government. Very few ordinary people in their day-to-day lives have been affected by the Public Order Act. It only affects them when they want to protest against government decisions and actions. We don't need that law. We'll wait to see what amendments they'll make. But I can bet you any amendments to that law, I don't think it will produce satisfactory results.
Are you going to make any submissions?
Our submission is that we need a total repeal of the law. That's a submission.
Don't you think this is an opportunity for Zambians to create, to amend this law or make this all tailor-made for us as Zambians, and not a law that we inherited from the colonial masters?
It's an opportunity to do away with it completely. We have got a better way of governing ourselves than the way the colonialists governed us. To amend means, you are just changing one to two things. Mm-hmm. That's what amendment is.
Yes.
You are still keeping the basic principles of that law. You are saying, as a principle, the law is okay. We can just make, pious adjustments here and there. We are saying that law in principle and otherwise is not acceptable. Repeal it. That's our submission.
I want to get you involved. You who's watching us live on our social media platforms on Hot FM Zambia, on Kwitu FM as well. Those listening to us live on Kanela FM on 97.7 FM all the way in Lundazi in Eastern Province. Do give us a call. 0974-870-877, 0950-955-877. I'll ask you to introduce yourself and ask one question to Dr. Membe. You'll be given an opportunity to ask one question to Dr. Membe so we can get as many calls as we can, and he can respond to as many of your concerns as he can, as he's still on the show.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah. This is local voice, Chinyama.
Chinyama, please go ahead.
You get it? Thank you. Dr. Membe, how are you?
Fine, how are you, sir?
I'm okay. Yeah. First and foremost, I would like to tell you that we are in democracy. We need those voices with proper checks and balances. But when I look at you, that's not the proper checks and balances you are giving. That's the type of hate kind of checks and balances which you are giving. You can't just rubbish everything for your new Don government that have done so far in 9 months. They have done a lot of things. Let me tell you something what they have done. There's the rule of law in this country now today. You are freely moving freely with your regalia, with your campaigns. No one follow you to that radio station. Is that not a plus for the UPND? And you still criticize them? And then two, the government changes. The government of 1964, Kaunda, the government of 2000 or 1990, Chiruba, the 2001, Manawasa, and then the Ed Kalung government, which PF recently. It's different with the government, which is of UPND. So the way of doing things, you can't expect exactly they have to follow what others. These have got a different, new blood, new way, new breathing. They want to do things correctly. Why can't you support them at once? We just hate like we just avoid everything, rubbish, everything what they are doing. Is that the checks and balances that you are looking at the country? No. That's the hate we are saying. Please, for once, work with your brother and make sure this country can go on and on. You are going to progress with the proper voices that can come from you, which are constructive, not lot of hate. It's not good. It's not good for our country.
Chinyama, thank you very much.
Yes.
We get your contribution. Thank you. It's 0950-955-877, 0974-870-877. We'd like to hear from you. On the Hot Seat Radio program this morning, we have Dr. Fred Membe, the Socialist Party president. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Fine, how are you doing? What's your name?
Mr. Shkubabe.
Mr. Shkubabe, please go ahead with your question or contribution.
The President, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. Mr. President, you are speaking very well. We will continue giving checks and balances to the country. The President, if you are going to be voted in 2023, are you going to keep those Africom in this country? Because as that now I'm here in myself for the good government for giving us that Africom in this country. The President, this inflation rate which you are telling us, this government is a liar every day. And I'm very surprised that you are continuing around this country. Since we were in opposition, how can you go that? How can you say that inflation rate is going down while the price is going 580 when they are coming into power, but it is 1,300? This is a joke. So, the good government should be serious with the problem which they gave us. Because up now, it's very unfortunate to have up now that we wait. Until when it's one more done around your government. Mr. President,
Thank you very much, Mr. Shkubabe. It's 0974-870-877, 0950-955-877. Let's pick up one more, then I'll allow Dr. Membe to respond to your concerns. 0974-870-877. Good morning.
hello, Mahuka Banji wakulu wako.
Toka chape bwana mwaka Banji.
President Membe Mahuka.
Tauka Mahuka Banji.
Yes. Abantu ba Kennedy Jezimondini.
Thank you.
Kennedy Kabanji mbele.
Tanzania mkuu wanga wa Fred Membe. Fred Membe ni kina question ni moja. Na vira kino ndi kuri mene bachita kurinjara muziko poverty in civil being. Mr. Officer of Fred Membe number 1. Mulina wairo tanki mwana mzanja tapona pipe. Question number 2. You are President Fred Membe, Ngatima Bro as a President wa Zambia. Munga chitwa Bwanji kuti imavuta moto unaochokera MPF ubora sika mwikwendi muyasiri za mnamansi ya ngati. Ani munga kwani so economic crystal juicy vapatu vantu vakuvuta 2026. Ngati musala chagwa tiba Membe mzinkwala ndiye malaga yato. Kuti mugore mwemwechi mugiye bata muremere muzigoro kwamba abantu bona ofedi muzikamba sio vanu watu wameweka lonzi wasiya pa Kingfisher kinaliko so wendele vani mupite mwendele wanapitwa na UPND ndio kwa muzabira mpaa noti mukabura muziambo nyoza kwa muzaenda papa pa 2 days mtu ataimu ofedi Membe zile mkwambiri wafanyoza fasani chisa balance ya nzeru ya uremu ya kongero salama Twanikira.
Zikomo. Dr. Member, I'll allow you to respond to those three, then we'll pick up some more.
It's not true that the UPND brought the rule of law in this country. There was rule of law. There was rule of law long before the UPND was established in this country. The UPND was established in 1998. There was rule of law before that. We had the courts, we had the police, we had other institutions of the state dealing with the rule of law. So it's not true that the UPND has brought the rule of law. There was a decline in a number of areas in terms of the rule of law under the PF government. It's not deniable. But to say that the rule of law has been brought by the UPND government, it's not true. Hate. Anybody who criticizes what one likes, if they are labeled hateful people, then there should be no criticism whatsoever. We are no opposition political party with our own agenda, with our own program. And it's a revolutionary program. It's not a status quo maintenance program. When we were campaigning last year, the UPND was campaigning under change. We were campaigning under real change. They were calling for change. We were saying we want real change. We offer real change. Our manifesto is there. The differences between our manifesto and the UPND manifesto are clear. The differences between us and the PF are clear. So criticism is not hate. If they want us to be praising, they are enough. Mr. Chinyama, my brother, you are enough. Pour all the praises. I said at the beginning of this program that what matters is not what I say or what those in the government leadership say. What matters is what the people feel about the living conditions that they have to endure. If the living conditions are good and the people are happy, no matter how much I criticize, it will have no value. If the living conditions are not good, and I point them out, or I praise that things are okay, like Mr. Chinyama is saying, it will have no value. So, my brother, Mr. Chinyama, keep on praising. Those with the critical voices, let them also be heard. If people will be swayed by the praises, let it be. If people will be swayed by the criticism, let it be. And we are not doing anything new. The UPND was in opposition. Let Mr. Chinyama show me what praises the UPND had for the Lungu government, for the Sata government, for the Rupia government, for the Mwanawasa government. Let's see. The UPND had existed under all these presidents. What were their praises? What were their support for those governments? So are you telling me, Mr. Chinyama, the UPND hated the Mwanawasa government, hated Rupia, hated the Sata, hated the Lungu? What are we going to do with Africom if we come into government? Definitely what we're going to do is very clear. They will have to pack and go. We will cooperate with the American people in a different way, not under Africom. Africom will go. Our relationship with the Americans will continue in a mutual beneficial way and with mutual respect for each other. But the office, if they establish it, it has to go. The embassy remains, yes, we want relations with the United States.
Okay. Is there one more? Or we're done?
It was just a repetition.
All right. It's 0974-870-877, 0950-955-877. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, my brother.
Good morning to you. What's your name?
You're speaking to Solomon Noah from Marafat Research here.
Mr. Noah, we have Dr. Fred Membe, Socialist Party President, in studio. What's your question for him?
Thank you. Comrade Membe, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, we are suffering peacefully under this new government. Membe, ekomrela ndakiamani sana, cyarengesha no mubiri wa muropa wa pita mu mishpashandi. Nese trenda ko cyakobati. Ubuteko ko twamona ko bakobati baba bu cry baby. Bamwe Membe. Nese trenda ko cyakwati people like you. In fact, I should call you SMH, President 8. You know, in 2026. Panti, we will take over Wala Reto Bunga Pacific Membe. That was Simona. Wakateka wale pitamona to Sarah, Netunga to Optimisha. Kovatinga Bateka, Wakamutu Karade Sara. But today, people are stealing important Aguari Pamela Kumakwamandebura Asha Papanse, Pambabula. Often, it's a check to under the government of Wakainde Shema. What is those who are praising him? They are eating those who are falling down on his hand table, and his friends continue like that. But what could he Kokovena Zambia? So why the Rokovatomu, Tindarama Yakushtomu to Spatara Rifuma? We are continuing, we are going to continue talking until they arrest us, which they are going to do that. We are not going to be intimidated, Membe. What at the end of the Sakovati, we will take over to Amona will be free. We are saying that nobody can anything the mix in the child. Murenjavakati, that's national assembly show to my favorite Membe. That's why Trandrakovati, our opposition leaders on the middle of the under fives. Mare criminal social often. But in conclusion, they never attended these national functions. That's why they are saying that there is a fourth freedom in this country. That's wrong. They are insulting the intelligence of the Kaundas. They manga kumbura. So let's attend the Pasakwati. About to respect the Zambian people. They are going to let them into the PF. They are going to start insulting us. What kind of people are they? We voted for them so that they provide for the Zambian people, not what they are doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You've given enough time, Mr. Noah. Thank you. It's 0974-870-877, 0950-955-877. The Hot Seat Radio program. We are live on multiple platforms in Eastern Province, live on 97.7 on Kanele FM, also live on Kwitu FM on 93.3 and on Hot FM on 87.7. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Moderator.
Good morning to you. What's your name?
My name is Vanangoma.
Vanangoma, please, we've got Dr. Fred Membe in studio. What question do you have for him?
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. Good morning, Comrade President Membe.
Good morning, Comrade Vanangoma.
Thank you so much. President, Mulande Fintu Skankala Sana Ferena Zambia today. Kaili, uchenjeshi wakwa politician vota kasa kamana lelo tulefimona olobalanda abantu ba president mitakamana background padi buchoshi na liko hospital last week fadi pai firo kushtaka kwa bapana de firo kushta fini toko lata chapa kwa wa mdom ubu kibula bale tubepa kasala dilale ndana kokanya lelo kasala dikali chetera kama kwatu wapumi na pali spoon 3 times meals menshi 3 times muri jaka funga wachi no mchelo wachi na pato mchungulo kando ni 20 kwachi wakati mugo ni kuisatulia inendi mulimi transport na nomba matala ndetiro kuisisha 250 wanje wero ili kwi wero 160 kutina ewa na bambombera free education wa Freddy Membe comrade wa president ni kwato mwana disability ya pamnali free education ku boarding alalipira 1000 transport na lesi wa nisikise kwata pende kwata ku school fish na latasha alama wale wale efi abuchi bali kuisa 30000 ama teachers ama yote weka aba anatukwete wale liratie bayuthi n'abapalapuka ba Dr. Freddy Membe Comrade ni background n'apakava ngabaye bati mayiro kubota. I don't think bamudoni bakuti batonda kono voti bantu muntu tarefaya ubuti bubi ikintu kya kwamba n'obuti tachukwa bwino kairi kirareto musebanya bapike balimbire ati nsala irareto musebanya ubu wanu 180 abo beta shati n'ababomba chishi babomba bamudoni 10 months 11 months turowa ubu kisebeka boka bakiri barerumba kobushi twaliwerera ku speeches ekubomba babomba speeches nga baba pafirimba bayinchesa balances mukurekeresa tatwakalekera Freddy Membe kubikeni amateeka balances ye nitubombe 2026
Chisuma
viva economic natotera
Chisuma. It's 0974-870-877, 0950-955-877. Let me pick up one more and allow you to react to the ones we just got. Good morning.
Good morning, Peace. How are you?
Good. How are you doing? What's your name?
Yeah, I'm Brother Alex in Osaka.
Alex, please go ahead.
Woman, the Muzika Chinese house.
Vati nituhire mzuire chono yesu.
Ukiona
Ningero nyanda.
Vati yana na chawa kwa mami mwezi sasa.
Ni mungaka.
People have spoken about the UPND and the Socialist Party. I want maybe to move a little bit away from that and bring the posts and of course the post and its dissolution in Zambia. As I see it myself, it is like the Post newspaper was put into liquidation illegally. And since you and me understand that this was done illegally, I want to find out, are you just sitting there watching, or you are going to take the road to the court and see what the courts of the land can say about the liquidation of the Post? That's my simple question for you, sir.
All right, Alex, thank you very much. Dr. Member, we'll leave you to respond to those.
Alex nikakala ni taba ya Post. Taba ya Post alusika ina fela. Kuzwa foi kwa lezi Post no Luis Malikuta. Taba ifitile ni mwa Supreme Court. Ba Supreme Court vaize pass judgment. Judgment ya 10 years bahala kafa mwana hamo. Vaize condemn zeneza halire. Nikubulera kuli liquidation ya Post kinala and void. Kuli akuna liquidation kona zani tausa. Luile kwa High Court. Kwa High Court nikona vairo ifatula vairo izusa mote nitaba ya liquidation. Halu hizi faka chenu na kuna kumitausa takabu niti kuli akuna liquidation ya Post kachenu. Mwa High Court ipalirape. Vana vaayeze liquidate abasikaya kwa kuta. Nolizi mwa kuta nibona bapalizu kutakwa tena. Yesaru yesa enyani kitaba yakuli womosho vana balima liquidator. Na vaize petition kwa Supreme Court against judgment ya Supreme Court. Kona ya usalitezi yeo. Kono neva yona akuna kweya. Zikadha kweza kalunya litata. Mafererezo azona aswabisa. Wojaji bana batalimira taba ya Post yale baba zusize. Ba Judicial Service Commission baba zusize fabu jaji. Bakenisata baone yale mona bayezelize. Na bafumani kuli nefosa elie nokuna nisitoyo nokuna nilunya nokuna nibusinyi nokuna nibubeteki. Nesikaza maiso wahande kamulika kuza maiso litaba kima jaji. Baba zusi fabu jaji bosande konteka chenu aisa lima jaji. Taba ye bazusi fate ni kitaba ya liquidation ya Post yomutarusa. Bo Alex Mungaka alusika ina fela. n'olwitu salikuta akilitabaza kulwana nili kofi ze batiri kilitabaza kulwana nizo na mwalikuta akikuyafera kyukala kunataka bomosho kuli amukutise kampani yaka batiri kapakyo nataka bojaji kuli zomu atuze lifosa batiri nolusika inafera luseberize mima fererezo akaswabisa kubana basinyize kampani yale kakuli akuna seno lufosize kuli banowe na banangoma batira ababufi balaye fingi aba nenso abali mu butekolero aba fingi balayire balela yabantu nga mwatu votera ififika chinja omutengo wabunga mukalashita pali 50 kwacha fertilizer mukalashita pali 250 amafuta ama moto katukabwesha pali 4 kwacha tungwe bali langa nensa mushefu ifo bakafibomba ubunga bule nini nako amafuta ale nini nako fertilizer ele nini nako fi nono efe balayile efe bachita ife tatamila enangu chimo tatuli ababufi umulandu tuntu tonso tunono mwakwata tuntu mwachulira mwebene tuntu mwaifwaira mwebene tuntu mwaichitira mwebene tapali wa miperapo nangu kamo nangu tuli abatila eba mirete abali mu buteko tebo ni mpia sheno mulalipira omusonko te mpia shentu ngurushisha chalo awe ni mpia shenu tapabo wa mupira ko nangu akantu nangu kamo ngatwaisa mu buteko ifwe ni mwaba kala teka keifwa bakala teka batila infu mushitunguru afie abateka bantu ni mwaba kala teka ama politicians nga batampo kutungurula no kuteka pamo pala bama problems. Leadership has to be shared with you. The decisions that government has to take have to come from you. That's what government of the people, by the people, for the people means. The people have to participate. Revolutionary government, revolutionary democracy entails people participating, deciding together, acting together in fraternal love. There will be no one MacGyver making all the decisions, appointing everybody, deciding everything. In every speech, his name has to be mentioned as if it's God. That's not the leadership that we know. We will need a government in which all the people participate, not in a patronizing way. The traditional leadership has to participate. Our religious leaders who command huge followings have to participate. All our people, including those who be in the opposition, have to participate. In that way, we'll build a society that is anchored on consensus and a common and shared vision. The issue of a MacGyver, somebody very, very brilliant, a genius, who can do this, who can fix that alone, will not be there. What we are seeing is one individual or a small group of individuals seeking glory for everything that they have not done by themselves. That is a product of so many people. Even the election that took place last year, the changes that took place last year, were not a product of one person, one MacGyver. We are not looking for a single genius. We are not looking for a single MacGyver. We are looking for a collective genius, a collective MacGyver, if there is any MacGyver.
Dr. Membe, I would like to thank you very much for coming through to the Hot Seat Radio program.
Thank you very much.
There you have it. That's our show for this week. I've been your host. My name is Peter Zulu Jr. Until next week, Tuesday, I'd like to thank everybody else that tuned in on Canela FM in the Eastern Province, in Lundazi to be specific, on Kwitu FM in Lusaka and surrounding areas on 93.3 FM, on 87.7 FM on Hot FM, countrywide DSTV channel 912 and Go TV channel 301. Until next week Tuesday, it's goodbye for now. Coming up next is the Urban Vibe.
You're listening to the Hot Seat on Hot. That was the Hot Seat. Don't forget to join next week at the same time. Exclusive to Hot 87.7.